My name is Anthony Six, Elkhart, Iowa, and I'm here for family court corruption.
Ashleigh Buchanan, Elkhart, Iowa, family court corruption.
My name is Anthony Six, and I'd like to share a little conversation that I had with my daughter's grandma and I. This is on Facebook, too. I said, I need it straight up. Shannon got fired from DHS because she made it impossible for parents to get their kids back. So I'm told. Whether that's true or not, I can't, I don't know. I can't confirm that. Don't know if you guys knew this or not, but I can't quit feeling like a piece of the most shittiest shit of a person on this earth because I don't have my daughter. And seeing her, then having to give her back to someone would be something I don't think I could do. I don't think I could give my daughter back when I didn't do nothing for her to be taken. And that just, it'd be a very hard thing for me to do. Because she would be at home with her family. She should be at home with her family 24/7. That's selfish of me, but I don't know that I could do that or even see her under those circumstances. And I don't know I'm not willing to see my daughter like that under those circumstances because I don't think that I could take her back. And I don't see her, and I don't know, I just think that that's good parenting right there, not to put your child through that, type of all that mess, whatever you want to call it. It's got my mind a mess, but but tell me straight up, do you think we deserved what Shannon made us get? There was no way that witch was ever going to let us have our daughter back. She said Kalen, my brother, couldn't have justice because he dropped a dirty UA. And she didn't even, that was nowhere in my daughter's case. This came up in her case between her and Shannon, and I'm not even in the mix of that. They never even asked my brother to drop, right? During my case, it was just that my brother's wife at the time had prior DHS history, and successfully completed and jumped through all their hoops and got her kid back. Just because she had history, they wouldn't let my daughter go stay with them. And then she tells her that is because he dropped dirty for pot. They never once asked him to drop, not one time, because he would have passed, like straight up. He was there, like a brother should be. I have an aunt and cousin who are able to adopt kids, and that is the requirements for family placement, which DHS is supposed to exhaust before permanent removal. In order for them to place a child somewhere, I was told that they would have to pretty much pass laws or whatever tests saying that they can adopt a child before they can place a child into their care, even if it's family or not. They'd have to be able to adopt one. I have 2 people in my family that can and do adopt kids from the state, and it was never exhausted down that route. I don't know what I'm to do. Every day in and every day out is getting harder and harder for me to bear because I can't find a way to deal with or cope with or even accept this BS. And everyone comes to me with their problems like I'm Dr. Phil. But I think that's about the only thing that makes me get through life now, is just by helping people, And I help a lot of people, little things, whatever, it don't matter, man. I help a lot. It makes me feel alive. And I can't turn nobody away because of my heart, and the only thing that makes me feel just a tiny little bit alive is by me helping out the ones who need it the most. And even at that, the ones that don't even deserve it. But that's what God would do, right? That's what I tell myself every day. But damn it all. I tried standing up and saying that is what that woman was doing, and nobody could have done anything. They wouldn't even listen to me. She kidnapped my daughter, man. Legally. She legally kidnapped my daughter. Straight up. Took my God-given right. The thing that changed my life the moment she was born, she took her. And from what I've told, she ended up getting fired for just the same reason. And there's nothing I or nobody else can do about it because she had the case closed on her terms and not what the terms actually were. I'm not a bad person nor parent, but I can't shake what that witch did to all of us. And I can't shake that I let it happen because I honestly never thought in a million years that she could get away with it. Well, I guess I was right because she didn't. My daughter's case just happened to happen a year or so too early. I mean, when have you ever heard of it being legit that DHS keeps a child from a parent just because they have concerns that the parent may go to prison in the future? You know, because I was in prison when they took my daughter. You know, I've been to prison a couple times, but when I got out, I was discharged off of paper, you know, and
Hasn't been back since or in trouble since.
and this has been over 2 years ago. And ain't been back to prison, nothing, and that was her only concern of the reasons why. After a DHS worker had said that there was, she was saying this after, and this is before she even, this is way before Shannon Nichols ever even got into the picture. I mean, the case, where am I here? This is after a DHS worker had said that there was not a concern, it was not a problem, and that I was even on parole, because I was on parole, and the mother of my child had a DHS called on her because of drug usage or whatever, and she'd called me up and told me to come get my daughter before DHS takes her. So I'm right there knocking on the door like, what's up, give me my daughter. And I take my daughter out to my brother's house where I was staying, and I was on parole. DHS found out that my daughter was out there with me because they was looking for the mother of my child, you know, to have her drop her UA and whatnot. And during the meantime, until they got that UA result back, you know, they wanted to come out and check out the welfare, you know, how my daughter was doing, if she was okay and whatnot. So we set up a time for them to come out. They came out and sat there with the DHS worker. The DHS worker was cool, and this DHS worker, I can't remember her name, but she was what DHS is supposed to be about, you know, there to help, not to take away. But this one she was cool. She was what it's about. I'm sitting there with my daughter in my arms, and, you know, she's sitting there talking to me, asking me questions, and, you know, I asked her, I was like, you know, I'm on parole and have been to prison quite a few times. Is that going to play a factor in this at all? Because I really hope that it doesn't, but if it does, I want to work through it, you know, and I hope it doesn't. And she said, not at all. She's like, you are very well with your daughter. She seems happy. You seem happy. You're on parole. You're dropping. You're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. And she told me, she's like, just do not let the mother of your child have your daughter until we get this UA result back. So she can't be alone with her mother, you know, until then. And I asked her if I could, like, supervise visits, like have the mother of my child come over to where I was staying, and she's like, yeah, that's fine, just as long as you're there. Well, and that's cool, right? Well, the DHS worker leaves, everything's cool. I'm at work on, like, the following Monday, and my baby's mom, she had somehow got the information that I wasn't even on the birth certificate, right? Because I was in prison when my daughter was born, and well, they just passed a law stating that the father has to be there, present when the child is born, to be put on the birth certificate. So my name wasn't even on the birth certificate. My name wasn't put on the birth certificate until like 2 months before the rights were terminated. So legally, I had 2 months of parental rights to my child before they was terminated. 2 months, if that. But my baby's mom, she was all butthurt and whatever, and was thinking that I was going to keep my daughter away from her, even though I'm telling her, no, I'm not going to, I would never do that. You know, no matter how messed up you was, I would never keep our daughter from you unless it was inappropriate. But, I mean, you could always come to my place and see our daughter, no matter what. I mean, if you're presentable and respectable, and if it's not going to, you know, hurt our daughter, then yes. But she showed up with the cops, and my sister-in-law, she was there watching my daughter while me and my brother were at work, and pretty much took my daughter, you know, I mean, because she told the cops that I wasn't on the birth certificate, so legally, I got no rights. I'm not the father, right? So the cops agreed with her, and they came there and removed my daughter from my sister-in-law's care. I called the DHS worker up that just told me not to let the mother of my child have my daughter. And I'm like, how in the hell is this happening when you told me not to, and the cops show up with my baby's mom and tell my sister-in-law that she has to, otherwise it's going to be a kidnapping filed, you know, kidnapping charges filed. And she's like, well, she's right, there's nothing that we can do, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't know, man, I was mad. And then after that, I just started going back downhill, you know, and yeah, it was a bad deal after that for me. I had no rights. I had nothing. I mean, there was nothing I could do, you know, besides get a paternity test done. And I went down there to take the paternity test or whatever at the courthouse to, like, because we had lawyers involved and everything. And I show up, and so does my baby's mom, but she don't show up with her ID. So it's like prolonged and prolonged and prolonged, and that's pretty much why it took till like 2 months before the rights were terminated. But yeah, and then I ended up going back to prison after that. But I think when I got out, I think I was discharged after that.
But she passed that UA.
Yeah, she even passed that UA. Yeah. Yeah, she passed that UA. But they didn't get the results back until after she had already had my daughter back from me, you know, when the cops come there to take her. Shannon Nichols is the most and about the only thing in this world today that reminds me that I'm still alive, because everything else that's a part of me has been taken away from me by her. It's kind of like she was the devil dressed as God. She is the cause and the reason why I chose to take the path that I chose to take, because she made it impossible for me to go down the path I wanted and tried to get. But not only I, but the mother of my child as well, you know, and everybody else in my family, on both sides. Since when does it make sense that because someone is not in treatment, they can't attend family drug court? Because they got family drug court around here for like DHS. Well, I just got out of prison, you know, I'd already completed relapse, and you know, I wasn't in treatment, and I was discharged too, so I didn't have a parole officer telling me that I had to go into treatment and do this and whatnot. But Jamie, the mother of my child, she is in family drug court. You know, she was in treatment and going through the house of mercy and whatnot and everything. And I wanted to do it too. You know, I wanted to do it. I was like, I want to do this too. I would like to participate in all these services. Matter of fact, when I got out of prison, it took them about 2 or 3 months to even let me see my daughter. And I wasn't even the cause of why my daughter was in the mix of any. I kind of was, because I wasn't there, you know, and you believe I take all responsibility that's on my part. Believe it. But what they did and how they go about stuff, yeah, it's not right. It's not cool. And something definitely needs to be done about that. But, all right, drug court, family drug court. They said that the only way for somebody to be in family drug court was to be in treatment. And I was like, okay, well, I'll go back to treatment. You know, I'll get in another treatment out here on the streets. And she's like, well, no, that still wouldn't work. You'd have to have a relapse.
Yeah, in order for him to get treatment, he would have to have a relapse because he just finished treatment.
That's what
And
this.
you have to be in treatment to go to family drug court.
So this DHS worker pretty much told me I'd have to go back out there and relapse. Just.
Family court person is advising you to go take drugs
Well, that's.
in order to get the services and the
I mean,
That
she
was
was.
going to be the only way. That's not what she
I mean,
advised.
she wasn't. She wasn't.
But
Yeah,
but
when
it
it-
kind of is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah, exactly. What it kind of boils down to. Yeah, that's what pretty much
How
I
else did
said.
you relapse?
Right. Exactly. I mean, I could have lied and told him I did, but if I did, then I would.
They would use that against him.
Yeah.
Violate your parole, probably, right?
Well, no, I was discharged.
Oh, you were discharged.
I was discharged, done
Right.
at this point. Yeah, no. But if I did that, then they would hold that against me, and then, so I'm like, no, man, that's not cool. But I wanted to do something. I mean, because throughout the whole entire case, I mean, it doesn't say nothing about me besides when I was in prison, I must comply with the Department of Corrections, just by doing the rest of my time, and discharging and getting back out. And that's all I said, right? And then in Shannon Nichols' words, I was being
Non-compliant.
non-compliant. Even getting, I was I don't know if it says I was getting angry because, yeah, man, I was getting real angry.
Yeah, it does say that you got very angry and aggressive on the phone with
But
her.
and she also, yeah, she said that I was getting angry and aggressive, and that I just showed that I just didn't really care about my daughter, right? That I just showed them that it didn't bother me at all, didn't want nothing to do with her. Okay, well, if I'm getting all irate with you on the phone and everything else, and even sometimes in person, I mean, but a respectful irate, I mean, maybe I was raising my voice a little, getting angry, but never like physically intimidating, nothing like that. It's just, man, I'm taking a stand up for what's mine, and if this person can come into my life and take what's mine, believe I'm gonna stand up to them. If it's wrong, if they're doing something wrong, I'm not gonna. No, what's a dad supposed to do? Just let it happen? Bitch up? Man. I mean, I wish I would have. I wish I would have bitched up. You know what I mean? Because I may have still had my daughter today, if I would have. But I just couldn't see myself participating in something that was so wrong. So I lost where I was. I don't even remember what I was talking about.
Before I got you off the subject, the last note I made was about the getting your name on the birth certificate 2 months before your rights were terminated.
Yeah, was that a drug court though? Family drug court, maybe?
Yeah, you were
You were
family
talking
drug
about
court.
family drug court stuff, yeah.
Okay. At first? You said I was talking about that at first, or?
No, you.
Okay.
That was
That's
Alright.
like
that was
where you
actually
left
what
off.
you'd gotten into.
Okay. All right.
Because I interrupted you to say, okay, so what they're advising you to do is go out and take drugs and read.
So I was like, then put my ass back in treatment and let me in, because that's what I want to do. They said, no, you would have to relapse in order for that to work. They got mad because, they even got mad because I knew the work schedule of the mother of my child. The mother of my child, because I knew her work schedule, DHS called her up and was like bitching at her for her letting me know her work schedule. We ain't got no contact order, no domestic abuse history, no nothing like that at all. They just this caseworker had said that the mother of my child has male issues and should have no contact with any male whatsoever, none.
Well, and is that before or after she was trying to play footsie with you at your mom's?
Yeah, the first time that I did meet this caseworker, Shannon Nichols, was at my mom's house. And this is like, I called them like every day for like 2 to 3 months after I got out of prison to see my daughter. I was like, what's up, man? Every single day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. What's up? I want to see my daughter. I want to come on, and just, you can imagine. And I'm redhead too, and I got a temper. I got it under control, you know what I mean? But I can only control it so much. I was frustrated, big time by the time that she did. But I mean, I didn't even I was relieved when she did finally show up, because I'm like, yes, finally get some movement here going on. Get to see my daughter. That's what's up. And well, she's out there, and we was all sitting around the kitchen table, me, her, and my mom. And I think she'd asked my mom to leave the room or whatever, so me and her could talk one-on-one. And I don't know. I mean, it could have just been an accident over and over and over and over again, but she was kind of I don't know, footsie pretty much, rubbing, knee bopping and toe tapping, and I'm scooting back, yeah. And then sooner or later, she's right there, and I'm not saying that she did, but I don't know. She's got to had some reason to do everything that she did, I don't know. Everybody else seems to think that she's butthurt that I didn't hook up with her. I don't know, but I don't think so. I just think that woman right there is very, very evil, because after going through with what I went through, I've met a few different people that had her, and it's the same story pretty much. Bottom line, she takes what's yours and gives it away legally. Your God-given right. Here we go. I was talking about how they was bitching at Jamie for me knowing her work schedule. That's the mother of my child, and if that is not okay for me to know, then this is not okay to begin with. If I can't know the work schedule of the mother of my child, yeah, this shit ain't even, that's a sign right there that it's not cool. I'm beating the life I have left inside of me over and over and over again and again and again and again, and I hang on to the hopes that ain't even realistic, that someday a judge will see this, and, well, a judge had to have seen it because Shannon Nichols got fired for it, or transferred to a different department because she made it impossible for families to be reunited. So I'm told. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, really, but I can see it. I definitely can believe it. Well, a judge had to have seen it because she got fired for it, and I'm mad about it because it should overturn every case that woman ever did. Even if they realize it and transferred her even, but won't admit it to the public, man, there's got to be somebody in that system right there, in that group of people that has heart and is real and should stand up and be like, man, we got to go back and check all this stuff out. Every single case that woman did should be overturned and started anew, fresh. I mean, I'm not saying just give the kids back to the parents. I'm just saying just start it over. Start the whole entire process over that woman had anything to do with in any case. Just start it over. Because, man, on my daddy's grave, that woman is so full of shit. And, yeah. And the court should notify every parent for every case she did to at least restart it and give a proper, fair chance to keep and earn back the God-given right to mankind to be the parents of their own children. To be the parents of our children. That's our God-given right. I believe that. And yet nothing. I wish I was who I am, because then I'd have my daughter. But I'm not who I am because of Shannon Nichols. Yeah, right. I take care and help out so many kids and families that DHS would be jealous of. At least Shannon would be. And dagnammit, I feel bad for talking trash, even about that woman. but she ain't even good enough to be considered yesterday's trash. But Jamie and I, whoever, how many other parents are, we're like yesterday's trash to DHS. We ain't nothing. They could just come into our families, take what they want, get bonuses for taking our child. I hate it when I think about it like that, because I just want to, but there's nothing I can do. I mean, because if I do what I want to do, I'll be in prison for the rest of my life. And, well, obviously prison did me some good, because I'm not doing what I want to do, and it's keeping me out here free on the streets. Not like how she had the concern that I would go back to prison, and that was the only concern, to keep my daughter from me. If you can do anything or think of anything that we can do to get this right, please do. I don't know if I can anymore, because I've become so numb, and the only thing that helps is for me to help out families and kids and people in the very way, if not better even, than that of Shannon Nichols. Shannon Nichols said I abandoned when I never did. If I did, then why does it say in the paperwork that I was arguing and fighting and being non-compliant with DHS? It wasn't because of what she was portraying it. It was because she was in the wrong, and I stood up to it. Maybe the wrong way, but what's the right way to do that? Because I'll tell you what you're thinking. I did try, though, man. I tried until the wheels fell off, I tried. I was actually doing it. I wasn't trying, I was doing it. And I could have been Jesus Christ, and would have still been wrong. And it didn't work. The woman even apologized to me one day. Me and my buddy were driving down the road, and I got her on speakerphone, and I'm snapping on her, right? I'm like really snapping on her. I was being very upset with her, and she apologized sincerely to me and told me that she had made the wrong recommendation, and she was sorry. And I'm a good people reader, and I know when people are sincere and when they're, I think anyway. And the first time that I knew this woman, she was sincere and apologetic, and but I don't think it was because of her recommendation, because she recommends removal, from what I hear, every single family. She recommends removal, immediate, doesn't exhaust all the outlets, family, immediate family, just foster care and then adoptive, foster care, then adopt. And she was very sincere, but she told me she couldn't do nothing about it because it's too late for her to change her recommendation. And she had even said she realized that she had made a mistake. And I even had my buddy, he was there to hear her say it, and he was looking at me because my best friend, he was there with me throughout the whole ordeal, and through my life even, and he couldn't even believe what was going on. But then when he heard her say that, it confirmed in his mind that I'm not pumping him up full of bullshit, because that's one of the things I don't like talking about my story about, is because, man, if I heard it, and hadn't been through it myself, I would think that that person's just jiving me because they didn't do the hoops and they didn't do this and didn't try and whatnot, so they're just talking to make themselves feel better. Talking about that shit don't make me feel better, man. It makes me feel worse because I still don't have my daughter, so, yeah. But it set him to realize just exactly how DHS is too.
Well, and the reason you were in prison when justice was taken to begin with was because you got Jamie pregnant.
Yeah,
I was 20.
Yeah, I was 27. She's 23. I'm on parole. She's on probation, right? A condition of my parole is I can't associate with anybody with a criminal record, right? So, straight up. So they send me back to prison for it and make me do a year and a half, 2 years just because of that, and made me miss the birth of my child.
So that's why he's not on a paternity test. That's why he's in prison when Justice got taken. And that's why he's not there and why they consider he abandoned her. They took him away from her because he got somebody on probation pregnant. And then turn around,
they wouldn't even let me.
They wouldn't even and never give him back.
They wouldn't even let me be around my own mom then, because she had an OWI on her record. Same reason what DHS used to not let my mom have my child. And my mom was the one who called DHS on my baby's mom in the first place. Just whatever reasons, I don't know about all that, but they got like differences, you know. They don't get along, and I guess Jamie wouldn't let my mom see my daughter. So my mom was like, and called DHS on her, and that's how the whole thing got started. And my mom was thinking that she was going to get my daughter, you know, and I mean, I don't know. I kind of hold my mom responsible for getting all that started, and I don't even really talk to my mom anymore just because of, yeah, I don't know. That's a whole nother story, though, but... But yeah, they wouldn't even let me be around my mother, my brother. I couldn't be around nobody, none of my family members, you know, because pretty much everybody in my family's got a record of some sort. And the ones that don't, well, they're either dead or somewhere far away. But they let me go to, but they made me go to NA meetings, AA meetings, which is like full of people with records. You know, it's like what... I can go out and get a sponsor, you know, and this person could have robberies, this, that, OWI. It don't matter. I mean, shoot, now it's even second-degree murder. You know, he did his time, got out, and I got a, you know, convicted murderer as my sponsor. You can hang out with him though, right on. But I can't hang out with my mom because of an OWI, or get this chick pregnant because of she's on paper. You know, yeah, that don't make no sense, man. And I fought, 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 because when you violate your parole here, they send you, or in Polk County, they send you to Newton for a PRH hearing, which is parole revocation hearing, and you have a chance to, like, you know, defend your case, why you shouldn't be sent back to prison, or, you know, try to get them to let you back out on the streets. Man, I fought for months and months and months and months and months, and this is all being locked down 23 hours a day and let out 1 hour a day, straight up. And that's to shower, to phone, rec. But yeah, and yeah, it's called, what is it, 23-1 or something like that. But yeah, and you don't even get the full hour. You know, they let you out like 15 minutes late. You know, just be dickheads. But I don't know. I mean, it didn't bother me none really, because I just used it to get to know myself, I guess, you know. I mean, I'm kind of glad it did happen, because if it wouldn't have happened, then I wouldn't be as calm about this as I am today, you know, straight up, because, yeah, I just want to go blow up the courthouse and DHS. I mean, straight up, that's the kind of stuff that I want to do, but I don't know. Even if I didn't have my peace of mind, I don't know if I'd have the balls enough to do it. But I don't know.
We won't include that in the movie.
All right.
That's a good thing.
If you do, you can blot out my face.
Yeah. Now, are we doing you anonymous, by the way?
Well, it gets twisted up. You know, like this is just mine, and then hold on a second. Let me.
Go ahead, Paige. We can come
Okay. All right. All right, but I have to accept this every minute, every second of my life, powerless of what is the most precious part of my life, my daughter, parenthood. That's what hood I represent, parenthood. Yeah, it's a good hood. It's all good in the hood, just like it should be. Even today, what's it all for? I guess it's all for, I don't know, I'll let you fill in the rest. And then the reply back, that was just my first reply, or what I sent out to the grandmother on the maternal side of my daughter's family. Her reply was, "I totally get what you're saying. I also went off and told anyone that would listen that she had no intention of letting either of our families have justice." And justice, Justus, that's my daughter's name, Justus. Just us against the world. Mm.
I always thought that was so sweet. I love that name. The reason behind it makes me want to cry.
I spoke at a conference about justice in Atlanta about 4 months ago, and I was the first speaker, and I got up there and I said, I'm kind of embarrassed, I said, Mary, the woman in charge of the conference, misspelled the word justice on the program. Everybody's out in the audience looking at it, and so she spelled it Justice. And the truth is, we don't have that anymore. The only people that get it are just us, the 1%.
That's crazy.
So, but you started it.
Yeah, but you didn't know that. That's crazy. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
really.
It's gotten to be a thing on Talk Shoe. I do, this Talk Shoe thing, and we talk about it. I stole it from somebody. I didn't invent it. Somebody heard it from you, I guess, and mentioned it on the show, and I said, yeah, I like that, so I've used it, and it'll be in the movie.
Right on. Cool. That's awesome.
We also have a child being born. I'll have to mention this to her. We call it our first Lawless America baby. There's a lady named Jolie in Washington State, and she's a regular person that comes on the show, and she got pregnant, and she said that she's naming the baby, whether it's a boy or a girl, Justice. Now, she's going to spell it Justice, but maybe she'll change after I tell her about you.
Yeah, I think she should.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice name. I love it.
Yeah, it's a great name. Never heard of it before.
Neither have I. But she went on to saying, she had no intention of letting either of our families have justice. I jumped through every hoop she wanted, and she still found a way to take her. Maybe we should talk to an attorney. I said, I have talked to a few, and even told them I'd pay whatever, but I guess I just ain't talked to the right one. I'll keep looking. Will you too? Is what I said, and that's the end of that conversation. Because, I've been to lawyers and cash in hand, and they still told me, because the case was closed, that there is absolutely nothing they could do to do anything to get my daughter back, no matter what.
Claiming that the case is closed.
Yeah. Like, terminated, right? Past the
appeal date.
Yeah, past even the appeal date. There's just...
I don't think in family court stuff things are ever...
I don't think they should be able to have an appeal, or
No,
See, that's...
I don't believe they are. I don't believe they are.
I don't think that's
I
what...
don't think they should have a time limit of when you can appeal it. I don't think
even if...
I don't believe it exists. I don't believe it does.
Like, for real, or you just don't believe it?
I don't know, and I'm not a lawyer, and I can't give legal advice. I have to always give those disclaimers, especially since we're recording. But I don't believe that exists. You have grounds. You've got this woman that's been fired.
I that's what I was told. I don't know if it's true or not.
You've got grounds even if she wasn't fired.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's a law in Iowa about predictive negligence or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Is there? Have you ever heard that term?
No, but knock pro tunk, you put your foot back in the door and open the case back up.
Yeah. What you were saying is, you said the possibility I might go to prison again.
Yeah, she had concerns that I may return back to prison.
In Connecticut, they actually, I guess it's probably not a law, it's probably a judge-created law. But if there's
Local
a 3% chance that something could happen, they could take the kids away. And the Supreme Court of Connecticut overturned it while I was there doing the filming, which was a great thing that they did that. They said, look, it's got to at least be like preponderance of the evidence kind of situation.
Because you could have
3%.
Anything could happen to anybody. Percent. Yeah. Yeah, that's...
Anything's possible.
Exactly.
So, the This would be a good guy to get to know over here. Did y'all shake hands yet?
Yeah, I think so, like, right when we was here the first time.
Yeah, we were
Kind of.
right next to
But, I
him.
mean, not, like, a lot, but, yeah, I'd like to. Like, for real. Because I've been, like, shot down by every single lawyer and everybody. It just, there's nothing, absolutely nothing. I mean, cash in hand on table, here we go. What's up? Let's do this. And there's nothing. Nobody.
You know, my opinion of lawyers is
Yeah.
pretty horrible. I mean, I have heard so many stories on this trip of lawyers selling out to clients. I
Man.
have 2 cases where people have the checks there where their ex paid their lawyer to throw the case. One of them was canceled and the other one was never cashed because he caught it, you know, in the process. But just unbelievable.
My lawyer during this case, yeah, he didn't do anything I asked him to do. Nothing. And I'm like, are you serious, dude? What's up? Why can't my daughter go with my aunt who adopts kids from the state? What's wrong with that? Or my cousin, or even my uncle. You know, I'm just, oh my gosh, man, there's so many different, my daughter should have, even if I was in the wrong of anything, I'm not saying I was because I wasn't, but if I was, and if my baby's mom was too, my daughter should have still never left the boundaries of our family. Never. No matter what, it shouldn't have.
There was plenty of people in his family to be able to take care of Justice while they went through this, and
even
consider
afterwards.
replacement if they didn't make it. And Shannon Nichols didn't try and exhaust not one single source of that.
She said that
shot it down and took
she
it back
shot
to
it down
court to get it.
I mean, she didn't try it. She just shot it down out the gate.
And when the
no
judge
matter what.
ordered it to be done, certain circumstances happened to where.
Yeah.
Well,
This is a good one, man.
this one.
All right. We was back in court. I think I was still in prison, I believe. But okay, we went back to court, and the maternal grandmother got awarded custody of my daughter. You know, okay. But this is how it happened. Shannon Nichols got up and said, I mean, she was like, it was a court hearing for like the placement of the child, right? And well, she said that she'd exhausted every outlet, and it seems like the only one that seems sufficient or good enough would be the maternal grandmother. But she's too old to care for this child, DHS thinks. And Judge Foltz, she looked at Shannon Nichols and was like, hold on here. That woman's the same age as me. You're telling me that I can't care for my grandkids and that I'm too old to care? Yeah, that's, nope. So we got awarded that my daughter be placed back into family's care, you know, to Bev. And before that process had happened, her significant other died, you know, Bev's. And the date that my daughter was supposed to be placed back into the care of the family was the funeral. You know, it's the day of the funeral. And Bev had called DHS and asked them if it's okay if they wait until after the funeral to pick up my daughter, because she didn't think it was appropriate to have a little infant child, you know, at the funeral, you know, to take an infant to a funeral. You know, she didn't think it was appropriate, whatever, and asked if she could pick her up afterwards. And well, DHS took that and ran with it. Went to one judge, you know, to try to get it overturned. And Judge Foltz retired after she made that ruling. And, well, DHS, they went judge shopping, you know, until they found a judge. They went judge shopping from judge to judge to judge to judge. I don't know how many they went through, but...
And found somebody to overturn it.
Yeah, and found somebody to overturn it because of the... Well, their original, what they originally stated to Judge Foltz, you know, that she was too old and whatnot, yeah, and found a judge who would agree with that. She's like, I think she's like 64 or something, maybe like that. Yeah, right? Yeah, that's not even right. I'm like, that's like double my age, and if that's too old then, Yeah, right. Never. Hell no.
Let me ask you a question. If I had been out of town on a business trip in Europe when my wife gave birth to one of our children, and we lived in Iowa, would my name
Nope.
have not been on the
No.
birth certificate?
Nope, not at all.
Nope. You would have to sign a paternity affidavit when you came back, and it would then be
And-
placed on the birth certificate after going through, like...
The paternity testing. And
Well,
it came back.
No, with a paternity affidavit, you don't have to have a paternity test.
But no, you have to know. That's the law.
Well, you may have to have
If
a
the
paternity
dad
test now,
isn't-
but
if the
with
dad
a
isn't
paternity
there-
affidavit, you didn't have to.
Right. But if the dad isn't there when the child's born, you have to have a paternity test to be placed on the certificate. That's what I was told. I've never seen it in the law book or on writing, but that's what they told me.
Well,
DHS.
Dylan's dad just got put on his birth certificate after all that stuff with.
Yeah.
So,
Like I said, DHS
I
told
know.
me that. So I don't.
Well, you can believe that and a quarter, or
I mean, I don't believe nothing.
get you a piece of
But
gum.
actually, when you were married,
You got a piece?
even if your wife had a baby by another man, being you're legally married, you'd legally be the father, even if you're not biologically the father. So it wouldn't matter if you were in Europe, anyways. She,
I mean,
I mean, legally. If
I could have been there and said I was you.
Yeah.
You know, that's crazy.
So, Miss Ashleigh,
Mhm.
what do you got to say about all this?
Well, just that
This is where it
I've
gets.
seen him with my kids. First of all, first and foremost, I'm going to say that he will be the greatest father in the world. I never got the chance to see him with his daughter because, you know, she was already gone by the time he got out of prison for getting her pregnant, and that classified him as abandoning his daughter and being basically just being stupid and young and dumb and still going to prison and in and out, in and out. That's not really how it happened, and Shannon Nichols was her predictive. I mean,
Magic
you know,
8 Ball was
yeah,
wrong.
She can see the future, you know. I mean, she was wrong, and that was her whole basis, was that he'd go back to prison, even though, you know, really, honestly, he had been on the straight and narrow for however long. She had no reason to actually think that if she would have taken the time to get to know the case at all. She had no reason to think that. And anyways, so that I would say first and foremost is he is a great and wonderful man, and he would be a perfect father, and he will be. But you know, when I had a case open up August 26th of last year, and at first they had issued me a DHS worker, and it was going to be Katie somebody. And before I even went to my first hearing, they had found out that I was with him and switched my DHS worker to Shannon Nichols.
The same one that took my daughter, just because she had history
And
with me.
Yes, just because.
And
there
at
was
this
no
point in
history with
time,
me.
I want to just.
And
This is the same Shannon Nichols that
Yeah.
played footsie with you.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And mind you, he didn't even live with me in my house. He had absolutely nothing to do with the reason my kids were taken. Nothing. And, but yet she had to be switched to my case because she knew we were together.
That's what she had told you, right?
Yeah. And just because she had a history with him and whatever.
Okay, but if
So-
that's the case, then remember the first DHS worker that I told you about that came out to my brother's to check on the well-being of my daughter, you know, when Jamie had come out there with the cops to take her. If that was the case, then where's that DHS worker? You know, she had the first history with me, you know, and yeah, so.
Yep. And actually, my very first encounter with Polk County DHS was January 20th of 2012. And that DHS worker was...
2011.
Oh, yeah, 2011. Yeah, you're right, my bad. 2011. And that DHS worker, she was nowhere involved in any of this, and she'd already had contact with me. She'd already met my son. And, I mean, she wasn't anywhere around it. The only reason why I think that is because they didn't have any clue about him at that point. And when my kids got taken, they said that the reason they felt like they had to take my kids is because I was flight risk. And because I had moved out of my one-bedroom apartment on Southwest 9th Street and moved into where I live now. It's actually paid off now. I bought it. So, you know, I'm a flight risk and I'm buying a place. Yeah, right. And it's also in Polk County.
Yeah, same county.
Same county. I'm buying the place. It's bigger. It has a huge yard. It's not a little one-bedroom apartment, but yet I moved there because I'm trying to
get out of town.
Trying to hide from DHS. And so that was their excuse.
Sounds like that's what we need to do, though. Really, like if they come knocking, just pack up and go to the hills.
If they knock, don't let them in.
Yeah, and just take off and go to the hills.
So
take your kids and run.
So that was their whole reason, or why the DHS lady that took my kids took them, supposedly. And in
Shannon.
that whole conversation with the lady that actually removed the kids from my home is how his name got brought up into anything. And when she filed her report, she put in there that my boyfriend was Anthony Six and that basically I loved him and she didn't feel I was going to leave him or whatever the case may be.
Shannon Nichols got switched to it.
And so Shannon Nichols got switched to my case. While Shannon was on my case, nothing moved forward. Absolutely nothing.
And I was
stayed.
actually going to she told Shannon that we planned on getting married, and when she told Shannon that told them that I was going to be around all the time, right? Which is okay and whatever. And that's great. That's awesome. So now I have to participate in services and sit down in the same room with the woman that did what she did to me and my family and my daughter. And yeah, and I'm still gonna do it, right? I'm gonna man up and I'm gonna suck it up and do all the hoops and everything, even sit in the same room with this woman that I hate so much. Never hated somebody so much in my life. I don't even think I've ever hated somebody in my life because it doesn't even compare to the feeling I have for this woman. And I'm even going to do it, right? All of them, all the hoops, everything. I'm trying to get a hold of her. You know?
She's doing the same thing.
She's doing the same thing. She's doing this. I was seeing the same shit that this woman was doing in my case that I stood up and protested against and talked about and tried to get somebody to do, and nobody ever did. And I'm sorry, man, but I couldn't keep my mouth shut about that stuff with my own, in the case with my own daughter, you know, because it's wrong. You know, this should never be about what it is about with them, man, because they're just taking it to a whole nother level, and yeah, they need to be squashed. They need to be stopped big time. And so we pretty much come to the conclusion that I mean, it wouldn't be cool if I was in the same room, because whether or not I probably wouldn't have done anything physically, but I would have damn near made it feel like that just with my voice, you know, just because the woman was on so much BS and I didn't want it to hurt her in her case. So we told them that we split up. And we're still together, and this was like over a year ago. So we got to keep that under wraps, you know. just until. Right.
So
you imagine what that's been like.
Yeah.
My case did not move forward a single inch for the whole time she was on my case. It stayed at 3 hours, supervised visits a week. And, for Christmas, I got to go over to my baby's dad's mom's house. Actually, it was supposed to be his sister's house. Ended up being his mom's house. They switched everything around on me. Sent all my kids' Christmas presents back home. It was... I didn't get my kids at Thanksgiving. No holidays with them. Like I said, I got to be with them on Christmas Day, but I didn't even get to see my kids play with their Christmas presents that I bought them because they unwrapped them at their aunt's house, and then we drove over to her mom's house and ended up being over there the rest of the time. So I literally got to watch them unwrap their presents and not play with a single one. And then she ended up sending more than half of them back to my house because my kids didn't have their own room at her house. And
That's like family corruption, though.
Yeah, that's very true. But they didn't say nothing about it. They surely didn't try and give my kids any rights. They're all about child protective services, but they ain't about any child rights. I mean, none whatsoever. And anyways,
I was out for my daughter's first birthday, right? And we had a big party, all the family and stuff. I got her a pony for her first birthday. It wasn't a real one. It was just one of those big ones, mechanical, and it moved around and, like, ate carrot and wagged his tail and moved his head back and forth. And, yeah, man, she loved that thing. Yeah. She was so awesome.
Did you get her a train for the second birthday?
I never had, that was the only birthday, the first one, man. And as a matter of fact, I don't even have no pictures or nothing of that because I went back to prison after that. And, I don't know, it seems like whenever somebody goes to prison, like if your stuff ain't at home with your mom, you don't ever see it again, because people just, yeah. So I've pretty much lost everything every time I went back, which I don't care. It's just, I don't know.
So then, Shannon ends up being on my case until the very beginning of April. And like I said, in this time, my visits did not move an inch.
And she started
3
telling,
hours.
hey, Shannon Nichols was telling her to tell me what to do that, and
but wouldn't answer the phone calls.
But yeah, wouldn't answer the phone calls for me. So she's not like telling me directly what to do, even though I'm calling her, leaving messages and sending her texts saying, hey, what's up? What do I need to do? I love this woman this much to where I'm gonna do this with her. And what's up? What do I need to do? And she would never return calls, nothing.
And anyways, then we...
And then not only that, but steadily saying that I'm being, I'm not participating. Yeah. I'm not showing any interest in participating or anything in any services whatsoever. That's what she's saying, right? How in the hell is that, man? No, that's...
Call and leave repeated messages,
yeah.
But that's not trying to participate. So then...
Because she's got to be the one to tell me what to do, right? So I know what to do.
So I'm the VHS worker.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Shannon has been on my case, hasn't moved forward, not one single bit. And then we go in for a family team meeting, and I fired my court-appointed attorney because she wasn't doing shit. She actually told me that she wouldn't blame me if I decided not to get my kids back and just run off and be with him and live happily ever after because kids are work and men are fun. Straight up told me that. And I fired her. I got a new lawyer. And anyway, so we're sitting there in this family team meeting with my new lawyer, and by this point we've told her that okay, he's out of the picture because this just ain't gonna work, and she's gonna ruin my chances of getting my kids back by saying stupid shit like this. So he's out of the picture now. It's just me. Give me my kids back.
Yeah, we split up.
And
that's what we told him. And
so we're in this family team meeting, and my baby's dad, who has been always been an asshole, never really been there for me, so been supportive in any kind of way. We're in there, and he straight up, we're trying to move to semi-supervised visits. And she's like, well, I don't really think that we're ready to do this at this point, and it's been over 6 months. I have 3 hours a week with my kids. And anyways, my lawyer was basically like, well, why do you feel like we shouldn't be able to move forward with semi-supervised visits? Well, she hasn't been consistent at House of Mercy, and she, in therapy. She hasn't been consistent in House of Mercy and hasn't been consistent with her therapy. Well, I'd only had one therapy appointment up to that point. And I went to that one and, okay, I'll give you that I haven't been consistent, but I haven't missed any. I went to every scheduled one there was. And as far as House of Mercy went, I had missed, I had been actually very consistent, except for in the month of December when I first started. But my son had surgery on a day that I either had a one-on-one or one of my classes. And then with Christmas and New Year's Eve, something, I don't know, there's some confusion. So I'll give her that, in December I wasn't, really all that consistent. Just some mix-ups and tracing surgery. And anyways, my baby's dad asked her, he says, unless I'm getting a different report than what you guys are sent, or he says, unless I'm getting a different one than what you guys are, he says, everything that I've gotten says that she was not consistent in December. He says, with Christmas, New Year's Eve, tracing surgery, he's like, a lot going on in December. He's like, but the entire month of January, the entire month of February, she's been consistent. And he says, unless I'm getting something different than what you guys are, he's like, I don't see where you're coming up with she's not being consistent. What does she need to do to be able to move forward? I mean, just basically put it right out there.
She did a complete 180. Stop, reverse it up, and doing the damn thing.
I made this shit look easy, and it's not.
For real, she's doing, and, I mean, she's just to a T, doing by the book.
They had not one single reason. They say go to NAAAD.
She's doing everything they're fucking saying.
Done. They say do your supervised visits. Not a problem. I take any second with my kids that I can. They say do House of Mercy. The very same day she tells me I'm not consistent, I completed my first class. The same day she tells me I'm not consistent in House of Mercy. How does that happen if I'm not consistent? A week later, I passed my second one, or graduated my second one. And so when we go in, and she also informs us that day that that's her last day on my case. She is moving to a different department.
She also talked Jamie, the mother of my child, into signing away her rights during the termination hearing because, she was at the House of Mercy and she had a job there and it required her to work longer hours sometimes and sometimes out of town, and she worked a lot of hours and she missed a couple parenting classes at the House of Mercy, in-house ones. She missed a couple classes. All of her UAs were clean, and that's why they was there involved to begin with, was because of drug usage. All of her UAs was clean, She had a job. She was doing everything they wanted, but she just missed a couple classes, and they convinced her during the termination hearing, the actual hearing, during it, to sign away her rights. And I was doing everything I could to make Jamie's world gold to where she didn't fall, and if she did, she'd bounce right back, because I don't know, my baby's mom, she was scandalous, but she had heart and everything, and yeah, I couldn't do it with DHS no more without causing a bigger scene and making it, it couldn't be worse than what it is now, I guess, but it would have been because, I thought that it would have been at the time because I never once in a million years seen the outcome that outcame.
We need to wrap it up. So
Okay. So when I got this new worker, things started moving real quick. With the very next family team meeting, I got my semi-supervised
visits. But by that time, it was too late for me to...
Yeah, it was too late for him to be involved, and the GAL very specifically said it was too late.
Too late in the process.
So...
process of what?
So, we moved to semi-supervised visits. That goes for about 2 weeks. And things I had
Ever
missed...
since Shannon Nichols has been off this case, man, it's been going good. Going smooth, great, the way it's supposed to be. And except one thing, because, we're still split up. You know what I mean? We still ain't together.
I had missed a hair stat at January 7th.
Oh, yeah.
Or not a hair stat.
No, you didn't miss it.
I missed a UA on January 7th. And...
That's when we was in senior grandma?
Yeah. And anyways, I didn't. Oh, and I kind of figured that I might have missed one in February, even though I wasn't for sure about that. But I knew for a fact I missed one on January 7th. It had came up at court. So when this new worker got on my case, I told her, I was like, you know what, I know I missed a UA this day. I think I might have missed one.
Well, the day we got back, you went down and took a UA, right? The day we got back?
No, because I didn't even know I missed it until we went to court.
Yeah, you did, because you knew that it was your number when it was in Nebraska.
Oh, yeah, that's a completely different time, and we got that.
All right.
Anyways,
my bad.
So, I tell my new worker that I really don't want any doubts in their minds whatsoever.
So she requested a hair stat test.
I knew that I had missed the MUAs.
She did.
And
she requested it.
Yes, so I requested that they do a hair stat test just so they didn't have a single doubt in their mind.
It came back dirty.
Yes, comes back dirty after I requested it. Not only requested it, called her back and reminded her because April 7th was coming up pretty soon.
So
and it only goes back 90 days.
The day the results came back, we went and got one privately done.
An hour and a half.
Paid for it and everything.
This dirty hair stat.
Paid for it with our own money. Got it privately done. It came back clean.
Yes. And I mean, I knew it would. I was so devastated though.
Check this out though. When the DHS worker called her to tell her that it was dirty, her hair stat came back dirty.
I had just picked
she
up my
just
kids.
picked up her kids for the and this was to bring them home. You know, just on a visit. You know, unsupervised.
No, semi-supervised.
Semi-supervised. You know.
Their very first.
She
time
just
at my
loaded
house.
them up in the car from daycare, right, and got the call.
As
they
we
was
were
like
walking out to the car, and they were putting their seatbelts on. She calls, you know, and I answered the phone. I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And she was like, "Oh, we got the results from your hair stat back today." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "Well, it was dirty." And at first, it didn't even click. You know, I'm still telling the kids to put their seatbelts on. And then I turn around and I was like, "What?" And she says, "It came back dirty for high levels of meth." Whoa! No way in hell. I start crying. I'm like, no way, there's no way possible. I was like, none. Oh, but also, not only did I request this hair stat, she almost forgot about it, and I called her back to remind her before the 90 days would have been up for that January 7th missed UA. So I called her and was like, I need to do this before April 6th.
And then the lady.
And she called me just in time to be able to go down that day and give the
but
the 7th was Saturday.
You couldn't take the kids though either. You had to.
Yeah, I had to take the kids back into daycare. Couldn't take them with me. I was so upset.
Can you imagine what that'd be like? You know,
I was
coming from the kids' point of view.
Yes. I mean,
like,
they
what
see
the?
me burst into tears.
So confused and just.
I pick them up just happy as could be. We're going home. We're going to go see the trailer. We're going to go see your puppies that you haven't seen yet at all.
And that's not even. I mean, I don't even blame that on the caseworker's part because that's what she should be doing, right? If that was the case, then if she really was dirty, then that's what should have happened, right? I agree with that. I agree with that. But their lab people, oh my God, and the lab people that we went to was talking.
Yeah, the private lab we go to says that.
It happens like 7 or 8 times a week with DHS.
They used to give a hair stat like once every other month. Now she's giving them like 6 a week because they're coming from DHS
saying
labs.
that they're supposed to be clean and they're coming up dirty over there through their labs.
Yep.
But coming up clean through these labs.
Says you can't fudge it by bleaching your hair. You can't fudge it by dyeing your hair. You can't fudge it. So there's no way that these people are coming straight down the street and getting another one done and they fudged it somehow. I mean, not possible, she says. So DHS's labs making mistakes.
Well, yeah, big time. Her very first hair stat test, right, which should have been dirty, was clean.
Yeah, it should have been.
That's
dirty.
the very first one. The very, very first one.
Yep. When they first took my kids, I had one done a month later after they took my kids, and that one should have been dirty, and it was clean. The one that should have been clean was dirty. And so
lab technicians.
So then,
at your service.
She moves me back
Sean Connery.
Supervised visits. You know, and my kids, they were pretty devastated because I was all happy when I picked them up.
I had to pick her up, man.
Yes,
she couldn't even drive.
Over myself
She
driving
couldn't
down
even drive.
the interstate because I was crying so bad. I mean, it was devastating.
She didn't know what.
I mean, my kids are my whole life, and I just thought that it was over.
You figured that if it's sent to the lab, man, it'd be dead on, right?
Yeah. It's terrible.
Not DHS. DHS has got anything to do with it, no matter what it is, even labs, man, it gets messed up, period.
So, you know, we go, and an hour and a half later, we get another hair stat done, and that one comes back clean. I had it to back me up that I'd been at House of Mercy. Every single UA I had was clean. I only missed a couple that
After the new hair stat, the one that we had done came back clean, they still didn't reinstate everything right at first, but eventually did, and everything's been going awesome since.
Everything since Shannon.
Not as good as it could be because, well,
it's been running very smoothly.
You know how it makes me feel because I'm not there, you know, and can't be. It's just, man, I feel I feel like what Shannon Nichols said about me, you know, like abandoning my child. Man, I would never do that. I would never even let one of my friends abandon their child.
We had to buy the place next door just so he would have a place to live and still be close by. We bought a new vehicle so we could drive and not worry. I mean, we've gone through extreme measures.
So I'm like living next door to where her and the kids are at now because she got the kids back and everything. I mean, they're back, but they're still going through the process. 17th. You know, still going through the process and whatnot. And I'm like, I can't even be there. You know, seeing them ride the bikes for the first time, and you know, I mean, I'm like
down in the truck. Watching them ride their bikes.
Video recording it like this, right? Like, straight up, man. I mean, I do, like, I like go out, they get a flat tire on their bike, right? I got to wait till they're either inside, have her make sure that it's okay for me to go out and grab the bike, bring it over to my place, and fix it, and yeah.
And we're sharing dogs. They'll be like, well,
we got a couple.
Wipeout's
my dog.
From the neighbor's house.
Yeah. I mean, it's messed up, man.
We're going through extreme measures.
It is very crucial.
He's worth it. He is worth it 100%. He's the greatest guy I ever met, and my kids absolutely love him. I love him. But they have got everything so fucked up in our lives that we've got to go through such extreme measures just to be able to be together.
Sometimes it makes me feel, sometimes I feel like I am that type of person, you know, but I know that I'm not. But just like looking out the window and watching them swim or play, whatever, and not being able to be there, you know, it really messes.
And my kids, you know, they said one day,
but
like,
she's worth it, and so are they.
I want to call 6. And, you know, and I even keep it from them that he's, you know, because I'm not going to put my kids in a position to where they got to lie.
So they don't know. They don't know nothing.
They don't know nothing. But my 7-year-old thought that he seen a lion walk through our yard the other day.
Yeah, because it's weird. It was at night.
He thought he seen a lion walk through our yard.
He did see it.
King of the jungle, baby.
But, yeah, my kids, they said, we want to call 6. And I was like, Or no, they said they wanted to see him. That's what it was. They wanted to see him. And so I sent him a text and told him that. Well, then he sent a text back. And I actually let my 7-year-old read it aloud to Lonnie. And, I mean, it just basically was saying he was out of town working and that as soon as he could see him, he'd come and see him. And
I'd take him out playing disc golf and frisbee golf, you know, because I like doing that. And I've you know, taken them to do it before.
They were all excited and happy. And, yeah.
I mean, that kind of, man, I wish I could be there.
All right, well, we need to wrap it up because we're on an hour into their time.
Oh, no.
But that's all right. You started late, but later than we originally.
Isn't that the...
they're...
That's what I thought. They like us. We gave them a camper.
Yeah. Yeah, they're friends of mine.
Oh, okay, cool.
We ain't full of it. When we say we're going to do something, we do it. We don't send you on a wild goose chase. They needed a camper, so we gave them one.
I should have arranged my RV with you with 6.
Huh.
I got to talk to Justice. RV. All right, any final words you want to say?
Yeah, man, I hope this Lawless America like really stands up for what we're about and obviously what you're about and everybody else and
I
just
hope
like
it helps something.
I hope it like does a lot of good, and I'm sure it will, even if it doesn't even get that far in the system. I know it will out here on the streets, you know, for us. I mean, I don't know, it's like I kind of feel a little bit lighter, you know, and better, you know, like the weight of the world's off my shoulders a little bit more, just by coming here and talking to you. That's helped.
Yeah, it has a funny cathartic or therapeutic kind of impact.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
Yeah.
people. More people than not say, gosh, you know, this makes me feel good. Let me ask you each, what does the term Lawless America, what does the term Lawless America mean to you? Or have you thought about it?
Well, I mean, I have thought about it, and, well, I could see it coming from two different perspectives. Like, America's government can be lawless, but the people can't, right? Not that the people should, but the government shouldn't be either. Lawless America is like corruption, like a legal mafia, you know, getting away with kidnapping, you know, and yeah. But then again, I also see it. I also see it. I also see it as a step forward and progress, and yeah, the way it should be.
I really like the fact that you can give people a voice. I mean, it's...
But what does Lawless America mean
Well,
to you?
no, I'm saying him in particular. In this video he's doing, I just really feel like it gives everybody a voice that they didn't have
He does
before.
got a pretty nice voice, don't
So do you, baby.
he? Not as good as his.
My dad is the one with a great voice. He had a voice better than James Earl Jones.
Really?
My brother has close, and I only got a little bit of it. But you know, this is a record-setting number of whistleblowers. We're up to like 1,600 people who've contacted us wanting to be in the movie. We've filmed over 550, maybe close to 600 at this point.
I'm surprised that's it.
You know, a lot of people are afraid.
I know, but still, you can be anonymous.
Well, you can, but you know.
I don't want to be anonymous. I mean, I really don't. I don't.
Yeah.
You have an extra leap of faith if you do that.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't.
Really remember to keep me anonymous. Will it actually work?
I mean, just as long as I don't want to be anonymous. Like if you use me in the film, I don't want to be, but only if it's like before the you know, then that's. I mean, but if like if we could like get a hold of you and let you know that it's okay before the movie comes out, then yes, right on. I mean, just if you could put a footnote.
Yeah, I've worked it on.
All right, cool.
I just said anonymous till further notice.
Yeah, that's right. All right, well, I'm going to call that a wrap.
Okay.
All right.
Great job, guys.